Period. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Andsoph. This is season 2, episode 5, and today we have a very special guest. This is my homegirl, Yesenia. And if you don't know Yesenia, now you will, because we go way back.
Way back.
Way back.
Like,
tell them how back we go.
Like kindergarten back.
Like kindergarten back.
We're talking almost 20 years of friendship now, if you think about it.
Yeah, because I'm 23.
We're going to be 24. We're going to be 24 this summer.
Wait, that's weird.
I've already told Sophie that she's going to be my bridesmaid.
Yes.
It's like, I haven't had a husband yet, but you're going to be the
It's
bridesmaid.
happening.
Well, Yesenia, I really have no experience with like being behind a camera. It's more of like me photographing and everything.
Yes, she's very talented.
I guess. But yeah, I'm just here being Sophie's friend as always.
Oh,
The homegirl.
today we're going to be talking about friendship.
I would say we do have a lot of experience in that.
We do, through all these years, and like I feel like we haven't on this podcast really talked about like the different kinds of friendship.
Figuring out who can be your close circle and who shouldn't be.
I'm really excited to get into that, so make sure that you stay tuned. Before we get started, I wanted to play this 2000s trivia. It's very short, but I wanted to see like, and it's based on like kids' toys / games.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I already saw the first question, and I already don't know the answer to it.
Ooh, hopefully I know. Because then I'm going to look at myself and be like, am I really a 2000s kid?
Right, I'm like, ugh. Also, we need to address our outfits as well.
We throwing it back.
We throwing it back. We wanted to get nostalgic. This is going to be and nostalgic. Mine says Nickelodeon. It's Nickelodeon denim jacket.
We love it. We got Mariah Carey eating McDonald's because, you know, she was a legend back in the day, even though we may have not understood her or should have been listening to her music.
Right. We love that. So let's see how we do. Feel free to play along with us if you're like listening at home. So this is from BuzzFeed, LOL. So the first question says, the original Game Boy had how many buttons?
Oh, it was the left and right shift on the back, the little keypad. I don't know if that counts as 1 button or 4, like with the arrows, and then it was A and B, like diagonally from each other.
Oh.
So that's what, 5?
I didn't have a Game Boy.
Oh, my brother had one, and I would steal it all the time. You're like, I'm like, but anytime he wasn't using it, it's mine.
Oh, it was 4.
4?
Dang it. Maybe one of those buttons didn't exist.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. That was
It's
practice. Fine. Forget that happened, everybody. Ooh, this one. What animal was not included in silly bands? The pig, cat, rat, or tiger? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was a rat. Remember the silly bands that they had a band because everybody was like trading them? My mom would buy them from Justice, and like I would get the peace signs and like the different collections, and I had like one arm and then the other arm.
Yeah, like you did not see my arm anymore. Do you think rat?
I'm pretty sure it has to be the rat.
Because I'm like, I don't remember that. Yeah, that was right.
Yeah, because I'm like, why else would they make a rat silly band if you think about it? I wouldn't buy it.
I would not either. Finish this theme song. It flips your lid when you are a kid with fairly odd parents. Ooh, is it That's Us? Yeah, right, but not mine. That's right. Is it Yeah, right?
I think it's Yeah, right.
That sounds familiar.
Because at the end, like that's what Vicky says at the end of the intro.
Channeling the Timmy Turner. I literally have this Nickelodeon thing. I'm like, I don't know. Oh yeah, it's Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Vicky.
Vicky. Next, which was not a freezer pop flavor?
Ooh.
Cherry, green apple, banana, or lemon? Banana sounds
I think it had
weird.
to be banana.
The heck? Oh, it was lemon. Banana was a flavor of a freezer pop?
I know for a fact I didn't eat it.
That's disgusting. Which one of these things was not a thing before 2010? Trampolines, The Walking Dead, a 3DS or Nintendo 3DS XL, or the regular show?
The 3DS XL. Because I think that was like a 2011 thing.
Okay, I believe you. Because I remember the regular show when I was really little. You were correct.
Oh! I should really give myself more props.
Period.
I had a DS like maybe like a year or two after when it came out, and that thing was a brick. That thing was like huge, and it was blue.
Dang.
That thing lasted me like about 10 years.
Wow.
And then my brother broke it. My younger brother broke it because he got mad that he didn't have one. The next DS I got was the DSi, and I still have it to this day.
Dang.
I still play games on it. Mario Kart all the way.
In the Tootsie Pop commercial, Mr. Owl counts to how many before biting into the lollipop? What the heck?
I think it's 3.
Yes, it was 3.
That's how you know I watched too much TV as a kid. I know too many
girl.
commercials.
We're pretty close to a 2000s kid.
Now I'm kind of questioning my 2000s kid
Right.
ID now because I'm over here like,
who am I?
do it even count as one anymore?
I know, because it clocked us. And then before we start, I dug this yearbook up in my little box of, I have so much random things from my childhood that I saved. Okay. And this was our yearbook. Why is it such good quality? I'm scared.
This was our high school yearbook. This was our senior year, 2019, class of 2019.
Yes.
They don't even have that sign anymore on the front.
Right.
They're the Bears now. They're not the Indians. They changed the mascot.
They did. As they should, though, because why was that our mascot?
I don't know.
We were appropriating real bad. But this is unfortunately the mascot.
But what I find it so ironic is that it was literally the whitest school district you could possibly imagine.
Yeah. Well, in this yearbook, I was like looking through at the notes, and I saw Yesenia wrote me something. So it's been like almost 6 years since you wrote in here, probably. It says, Sophie, girl, we did it. We survived the past 12 years of school together. We started together, and now we're finishing together. Many memories were made, and all I can say is thank you. Thank you for being such an amazing friend. We don't talk every day, but when we do, it's as if nothing or 0 time has passed. Hopefully we stay friends after high school. Love you bunches. I wish you nothing but the best.
Oh my god.
That's so cute. I know, I was like, why am I gonna cry?
Low key though, it kind of made me tear up a little. Because I feel like that's something I would still say to this day.
I feel the same. And it's like crazy when you write it, you just don't know if you're actually gonna stay friends. Love you, girl.
Oh my god.
I'm glad we're still friends.
Oh my gosh, that really warms my heart. If we want to be PTA moms, we gotta.
I'm like on the Boo Bash committee.
Oh my gosh, I can so see that happening. You with like a little headset going, excuse me, why aren't you in the hallway? You have to go work your spot.
Places. I don't want to see anybody. If you guys don't know what the Boo Bash is,
it was like the Halloween festival at our elementary school. They would put it on every year. The DJ was popping every year.
And the haunted hallway, too good. It was my horror nights. Like I actually
that was
so
our
scared.
version of Horror Nights, yeah. I remember I didn't actually get the courage to go through the hallway until our classmates were the ones
we were in it. Then I was like, I guess I could do it.
It's like, I guess it's because I know where everyone is because I helped plan it. And the funny thing was that I still screamed.
I'm like, I could talk about it forever. The whole episode just like, remember?
It's not about friendships anymore. It's about throwbacks.
Right. It's about us. Sorry. Anyways, now we can get into friendships today. Back to reality.
Back to reality, what we were originally supposed to talk about.
Right. The first topic that we wanted to talk about in friendship as adults, because that does look different. When we're kids, you know. Most definitely, you grow up and you're just exposed to more and you're like, oh, wow.
Well, you didn't get to go to my graduation party because, you know, you had gone to Europe. But when I went to yours, it was really funny, though, because the friends that you did invite, they were like, I'm sorry, you've known her since when? I'm like, since kindergarten. And they're like, and you guys are still friends? I'm like, absolutely. I'm like, do I talk to her every day? No. Yeah. Do I text her every day? Not as much as I'd like to, but are we friends? Absolutely.
Yeah.
People put in their heads of like, oh, if you don't talk to them every day, like, are you friends? Or like, if you don't see them often, are you even friends? You guys are more of acquaintances. And I don't really think that's the case.
Yeah.
Because it's more about the foundation that you build with a person. Because I think about it like how you and I grew up too. Like, we grew up knowing each other's families. Like, we know each other's siblings. Like, who lived in your house, you knew who lived in my house. So it was just more of like, we knew each other. We knew who each other's families were. It wasn't awkward. And we still think about it to this day where I'm like, how's Mickey? How's Megan?
Yeah.
And you're like,
what's Adrian up to?
You're like,
and we're like,
It's like... But yeah, it's things like that where it kind of gives you that wiggle room to be like, no, like, let me give a check-in with you. And it's not necessarily something more of like, oh, I see you every day. At the end of the day, we're doing things in our own space.
Yeah.
And we're supporting each other at our distance, but we know we're still going to be there. That's the way I think of it.
We both have that expectation too in our friendship of where we don't put it on each other to where it's like, oh, we need to talk to each other every day for us to feel like we're actually friends. And it's like, if you don't talk to me every day, you hate me.
Yeah.
You don't like me.
And I make jokes about it too when like we get together once a year in the summer.
Yeah, we're like, so
we literally live in the same city.
And I was so happy when you reached out about the podcast too, because I was like, yes.
That's the thing that I was so nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, that would be so much fun to do with Sophie. But then I'm like, I don't like the sound of my own voice. I don't like to see myself like in front of a camera or anything. I'm just like, hi. I'm like when you came out with it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna listen to every episode. And ironically, I have.
Oh.
And I remember too, I don't remember what episode it was exactly, but it was definitely season 1. You had done an episode about like mourning a friend because like when you lose a friend at such a young age, like it's really hard to cope with, especially like at our age. And I think you really hit a lot of really strong points in it. And ironically at the time, like one of my really close cousins, like her and I were more like sisters, she had just had a friend who passed away, and like she didn't really know how to cope with it. And ironically, I had just listened to your episode and I said, I think this will definitely give you a different perspective. And she loved it. She was like, she goes, I never would have thought of it that way. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Oh my God.
That's so sweet. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, yeah, because I thought about it too, and I was like, no, I'm like a hardcore Andsoph fan. Like,
girl, you are. And I was like, I was shook from that too. Even when I remember you texting me when the podcast first came out, and you were like, I'm so excited for this, and all I posted was the name, and you were like, I'm hyped, and I was like,
I already put my reminder. I put my episode reminder.
I was like,
oh my gosh, I remember being so excited and showing my mom. I was like, Mom, look at what Sophie's doing.
She's like, what the heck? Speaking of friends we had as a kid.
Oh gosh.
Do you feel like there's anything like from growing up that like you felt has carried into your friendships now, of the way you used to go about friendships as a kid, like how you made friends, how you like felt accepted by others or whatever?
In high school, I actually had a fallout with like one of our elementary friends. Like her and I were kind of just glued together in life. She just like turned into a completely different person, which like at the end of the day, like we're all humans, like we all change, like our mindset's obviously going to change. But I think that friendship, and instead of it being so like supportive, it ended up being like envy and like jealousy. Yeah. And so like seeing that change in a way, it just wasn't healthy for me, because at the end of the day, she made our friendship more about like anger and about like, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And so I think that was actually my first toxic relationship without noticing. And I look back on it now and I was like, wow, I really beat myself up because I felt like I had an obligation to be her friend. So I think now as an adult, I'm more in the mentality of like, listen, I'm not obligated to be your friend. You're not obligated to be mine. So if for whatever reason, like we just don't talk to each other, or we just don't get along, like we don't have to. Yeah. So I think that's definitely something I still carry with me. And it's just more of like, I think about it and I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that? Like I really put myself through so much stress for a person that's like no longer in my life.
I like what you said about like how you don't have to feel obligated to be their friend, but they don't have to feel obligated to be your friend either.
Friendships are basically a relationship. I mean, it's obviously a different kind of relationship, because at the end of the day, like you have a relationship with everybody in your life. And it's just a matter of like you knowing your boundaries and like realizing like, okay, we're friends. Like we have no obligation to be with each other. It's like if this isn't healthy for either of us or for one of us, like we should be able to say, hey, like this just isn't working for me. It's not what's best for me, and I think you should respect that. So I think that's what a lot of people forget, and I think it's important to highlight that. But I think it's because I've gone through it like so often since adulthood that I'm just like, maybe I should just stick to like my close circle.
It's okay. Like, I think it's still good to like open ourselves up to new people. You know, maybe we won't have the same experience. And some people, like you said, they come and they go, and maybe they were only meant to be there for a certain time. And then, you know, how your friend like changed.
You know, you're growing up. Like, you're growing up and you're figuring out who you are. And I think that's kind of also the same thing that kind of plays into it with friends. It's like you can grow up with each other or you can grow apart. And then I had another friendship just recently where it's like, okay, we're at different places in our lives. We have different views. It's like, okay, well, we grew up together, but now we're growing apart. Now it's kind of more of like figuring out when to cut ties. Because at the end of the day, like, I don't wish anything bad on anybody. I don't wish anything bad on any friends that I'm not friends with anymore. But it's more of like, if you're doing you and you're happy, good for you. Like, it's just that I just wasn't that person to be your support system.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like, your friends are supposed to be the ones that support you. They are supposed to cheer you on. They're supposed to be your little cheerleaders on the side.
I'm sorry.
Like, go Andsoph.
Go Yesenia. Has there been any friendships where you didn't necessarily like let them, or you guys didn't let each other go, but you decided to stay friends like through whatever you went through? Like, have you found that there's been something that's been helpful for you to like make boundaries with them?
So the friend that I told you that we kind of just grew apart, we basically had like a big friend circle, like when we were in high school. And so one of the friends in that circle, like her and I had just had a lot in common. Like she was super nice to my parents. I was very nice to her family. And then we found out like a little later that our older brothers went to high school together and they were friends. So we thought that that was cool that, you know, like our brothers were friends, we didn't know it. And then we were friends in high school and didn't know it. And we just had a lot in common. But she's just that friend where it's like, okay, like, I'm gonna support you regardless on the sidelines. You have your life. She's gonna support me on the sidelines because I have my life. But we drew that boundary because she's still friends with someone that I just don't want to be around. And, you know, and she respects that too. So, like, the time that we talk, she's just more of like, no, like, I want to know how you're doing. And, like, you know, certain things.
Not being friends with somebody anymore, not having as close of a relationship, but like still having mutual friends, like that's like the toughest part.
Because then it's like awkward, because then if I show up the next time we go out to drinks and she's gonna be like, oh yeah, like you came up again because I mentioned we went out. And at the end of the day, it's just more of like, well, I feel like maybe that might cause conflicts for you too, like on that end. I'd rather not be the instigator, and it's just more of like, okay, like that's your place, here's my place. I'm gonna support you regardless.
Thank you for sharing that story too. I feel like that'll be really helpful. We also wanted to talk about the difference in our friendships between hard conversations versus hard dynamics. So in other words, like things that it's just like, okay, this was just a tough conversation. This was just an uncomfy moment. Like, we will get past this. Versus like a dynamic that clearly
Clashes.
Clearly is stressing you out, making you cry, making you crash out.
So, like, you can have an argument with your best friend. You can have an argument where, like, let's say I say something that's, like, disrespectful to you. That's going to be an uncomfy argument between the two of us. But at the end of the day, we have that dynamic where it's not, like,
it's been hard the whole time.
Yeah, where, like, it's a frequent thing. It's just more of, like, oh, I made the mistake of saying something, and we move on from it. Like, that's a difficult conversation versus a difficult dynamic.
For me, it's sometimes hard to tell because sometimes I'm really sensitive and I take like a hard conversation. I'm like, well, maybe this whole friendship isn't what I thought it was. I think it is really good to be able to learn how to like move forward so you don't lose like valuable relationships where it's like, okay, this could have just been a conversation, or this could have been communication, or this could have been like talking things out. But I think that like I've definitely like felt before, like with hard dynamics, that I was like, oh, maybe it was just like it'll happen again and again, and then I'll just be like, okay, maybe it won't happen again, and then it does, and I'm just like, what do I do? And then at that point it's like
because if you think about it, like when it comes to hard dynamics, you're trying really hard to be like, oh, but we've had all these memories together, like, oh, we've had all these fun times together, and it's like, but at the end of the day, those little sweet moments can only like last for so long before like something blows up again, or because like another argument, because they're just genuinely stressing you out. with like their mannerisms, and you're like, I can't say anything because we already blew up. I'm trying to like keep it to myself. You're like, I'm not trying to make anybody cry.
Right.
Oh, I'm a crier. Like,
same.
Any conversation, any like little dispute, I'm literally like crying just out of emotion, not because I'm sad or I'm angry, just because like I get so flustered that my body is just like sobbing.
Yeah, you're releasing all of the tension that you've been holding.
We emotional queens, and it's okay.
And it's fine. We get the words out.
Eventually.
Eventually they do come out.
Eventually.
Like, is there anything that you feel like you notice yourself doing sometimes or in the past that has like contributed to hard dynamics? As an example, like I like have a hard time sometimes expressing things like in the moment if I'm like really nervous to like tell them.
God, me too.
And yeah, that's something that has like carried.
Oh,
girl.
That thing has even carried into like my current relationship, and my boyfriend's just like, he kind of keeps me in check, and he goes, you know, it's okay to say your feelings. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to be rude. And he goes, you're not being rude if it's how you feel. And I'm just like, this is awkward. And like, I'm not saying I'm perfect because no one really is, but I can't take criticism very well. Ironically, like anything that like anybody says to me, I literally take it to heart.
Oh yes, I'm so sensitive.
I take it to heart, and I'm like so sensitive. Or like, let's say I'm like a hangry person and someone like says something to me that's like criticism or just asks me a genuine question, but like their tone is off to me. I'm like, why would you say it to me like that? So I'm the type of person to be very reactive, not necessarily proactive. So I will definitely accept my responsibility in a hard dynamic.
For me, it's more like I shrink back. Like I'll be like, oh, I guess I kind of felt this, but I won't say like everything. So because I'll be like, okay, that's like less bad, and then I'll come back to that person like a week later and be like, actually, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, they hate to see me coming.
It's like, well, why are you telling me now? I'm like, well, because I needed the courage to say it.
I was like, I have anxiety.
I'm like, my anxiety did not let me.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, don't do what we do, guys.
Yeah, we're learning.
We take our responsibility and we learn, or we're trying to work on it.
We're trying. It's getting better. Before, when I was younger, it used to be like, a month would go. One time a month went by and I had to tell this little boy at church, like, what he said to me was like really mean. He called me ugly. Oh my God. And I still remember that to this day. And it took me a month to tell him that hurt my feelings. And he was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's fine.
Oh no, for me, I'm literally the type of person, and it's so bad. And like my therapist has told me, my boyfriend's like, a lot of people have told me, I just bottle things up and I don't say anything. So like it could be just one small thing that like tips it off or just like sets me off because I've bottled up so much and I lose it. And they're like, you're losing it over a small thing. I'm like, no, it's not just a small thing. I'm like, there have been so many other things. And they're like, so why didn't you tell me earlier? And I'm just like, because my anxiety did not let me. I'm just over here like, I'm literally over here like, I did it because I didn't want to cause problems.
Right.
And then you end up causing more a bigger problem than what it should have been. And I'm just like, oh,
my bad.
I guess.
In the times where you do feel like, okay, I can say something, like I feel comfortable, I feel safe, like what helps you to have like, try to have like a healthy conversation?
Well, I'm still working on it now. I will say that. Like, it's just not something that's come easy to me. How the conversation with someone, it's like, all right, so what you just said makes me feel this type of way. And I'm like, and I'll explain to you why. And then it'll happen. And I think about it too, like with my boyfriend a lot, because he's very patient with me. Yeah. And I give him so much props because he has a way of communicating and I don't. So he's still teaching me. So like he'll tell me, he goes, well, how did you do it with like friends that you've had issues with? And I was like, oh, you think I've been able to do that before? And he was like, have you? And I was like, no, I've never had that. He goes, well, when you have an argument, how do you do it? And I'm like, I usually just kind of have the argument and like let it blow up and that's the end of it. And he's like, that's not healthy. Yeah. So then now like he'll sit me down and he's like, all right, something's bothering you. But now I've gotten into the habit of more of like, okay, my turn. Yeah. I'm like, and like I'll tell that to my mom too, where I'm like, Mom. And she's like, what? And I'm like, so you know how when you said that thing? And she goes, like 2 weeks ago? And I was like, yeah, that bugged me. And she goes, you're saying this now? And I'm like, yeah.
Like I am.
So we're getting there. At least now I don't let it bottle up, but at least now I'm able to like put it in my head of like, okay, I need to tell the person.
Yeah.
I need to tell them, like, I'm mustering up the confidence. If you're sweating and everying, that's how you know your anxiety's like through the roof. Right. You're just over here like,
I'll be stuttering. For me, I'll be like, because literally,
I'm like,
heart beating.
Yeah.
I'm seeing stars. Get me out. And then when people come to you with something, like, how do you react to that?
Did I mess up? Like, that's always my automatic. And it's like, I'm trying to teach myself that it's not always going to be my fault, because it always takes two people to start a problem, because there's always two sides to every story. Yeah. So if I automatically put the blame on myself, then I feel guilty, and it's like, whoa, like, take a breather.
Yeah.
It's just a critique. What you said didn't come off the way it should have, and I'm like, oh.
Right.
I'm like, that's on me. That's my fault.
Just like making you aware of something, and it's more focused on like the issue than you as a person. And I think people will definitely feel comforted knowing that this is like a normal thing to struggle with. I love that. I love that we're self-aware, because I was like, I need to talk more on this podcast about things that I'm self-aware, because I'll be on here sometimes and I'm like, this happens, then I'm like, wait, let me like emphasize, everybody who comes on here is not perfect. And yeah. Yes, we're all learning.
And I think that's definitely something that a lot of people need to like be okay with, is that we're all learning. It's everybody's first time at life. You can't expect everybody to be perfect, because we're all learning together. We learn from each other.
We're like,
free therapy session?
Okay, therapy. So lastly, we're going to talk about, we kind of talked about it in the beginning. You mentioned growing together versus growing apart / letting someone go. Do you believe that people can grow apart and then like come back together when they're meant to?
I definitely think so. I think it's just because like I've seen so many people in my life do it that I think it's most definitely possible. When you learn, like you take it and you're just like, okay, like I'll know for next time. Yeah. Or like I'll know for this. And it's just kind of something that it's like, okay, like at the end of the day, you don't wish anything bad on the people you used to be friends with just because you're not friends with them anymore. But like if all of a sudden, like let's say for example, someone wants to message me and be like, hey, like I know we haven't talked in a while. I know things were really rocky, but I just genuinely want to know like how you've been. Things aren't gonna necessarily go back to the way things were, but it's just more of like, okay, like we're starting fresh and we're learning how to adjust to our new personalities.
Yeah, that's like a really big thing, to like be okay with things not being exactly how they were. Yeah. Because I think that's something that I struggle with, like grieving in friendships, where I'll be like, I miss when like things were like this and like all of that. But like sometimes friendships could look like that, like where it's like you guys are getting to know each other again as this new version of yourself, but you are like also aware that things aren't going to be the same because life isn't the same and you guys aren't the same.
You can keep that space, and even like with friends that like you're not friends with anymore, like it's just more of like, okay, like you're good, I'm good,
right?
I'll check in with you if you want me to. If not, like you'll check in with me. Sometimes I surprise myself with what I say, because I was like, if only I could take my own advice.
We're all listening to ourselves. We're like, wait.
Maybe I should listen to this podcast when I'm like,
girl, I will be playing this in
and I'm just like,
down bad times. I'm like, I said that. We said that. Yesenia said that. We should listen to it together.
I'm down.
I used to do that last season, then it kind of died out because everybody got busy. So, but we can try it.
I'm so down to do a watch party.
Yes. Literally, you could come over. And you can see my family.
Oh my gosh. Mickey the chef?
Yeah, Mickey. You're gonna, when you see him, you're gonna be like,
huh?
No, you're literally gonna scream. Be like, that is not
the little tiny kid I've met.
A 21-year-old man who works out every day. Oh
no, when you see Adrian at his spring show, you're gonna be like, I'm sorry, is this the same baby that was born? My brother's performing at World of Dance. Like, this is
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that. I hope he keeps doing it if he likes it.
I hope so too.
I can see him taking over, like performing at tours.
Oh yeah, festivals. We tell him all the time, because I'm like, oh, you got it.
Oh, Coachella. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be like, yeah!
We're gonna tell him, so like, can you cough up the
Right.
the little
Artist passes,
the artist passes?
please.
Like, we'll be like the media managers or something.
Right. We'll do
We'll be
whatever
your
you want.
assistant. Like, what do you want? Like, no, Adrian's my baby brother. Well, not so baby brother.
He's literally graduating. I like these. Okay, which one would you rather answer more?
What helps me with like with grieving, or like how I grieve a friendship?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just more of like thinking about how they are very different and I'm very different.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, we started off great, things were great, we clicked very well. But then certain things in life happen because it's just life,
Mm-hmm.
and they may handle it in a different way than you would. The relationship that I had to cut off, her and I were friends since like high school. And it carried on into college, and I had this like really great foundation with her because like I had even set her up with one of my really good friends, and like they're still dating to this day. Am I friends with him either? No, because like her and I had such a big fallout that it's more of like, okay, like he didn't want to pick sides, but because their relationship is going so well, I didn't blame him. With her, it was just more of like she would come to me for advice, I would give her the advice, and then she would do complete opposite of like what I would tell her, and then complain to me why things weren't getting better. And I'm like, well, you come to me for advice and it's getting annoying because you're not doing it. If you're not doing it, I can't really be put in that place. And the entire time I was thinking about it like, oh, but we've had all these great memories. Like, we started off so great. Like, she was somebody that I thought would always be in my life. If she's happy doing her own thing, good for her. But I would have to remove myself because at the end of the day, I wasn't being happy. Friendships are heavy. They are a heavy conversation.
Because you've gone through that so many times, like you've gained so much wisdom from that, which is why you've been able to like share about these things. It's so good to be aware of that and still be able to take like the gems that you learn from like heartbreak or just really hard friendships or just losing people, because that's hard. And grieving can be grieving people that are still alive.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's almost like, if you think about it, when you stop being friends with somebody, it's almost like a breakup. Like, you go through...
Friendship breakups are real.
Friendship breakups, I feel like, are worse than actual relationship breakups. Like, I will say, just because I feel like my friendships have lasted a lot longer than, like, actual relationships. So when I, like, have a breakup with a friend, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I'm literally sitting there like, well, do I delete the pictures of us together? Do I keep them? Like, do I like throw out like everything she's given me, or like no? And like to this day, like I'll get it on my Snapchat memories. I'll be like scrolling through them.
Snapchat be reminding you
of everything. Like Snapchat will remind me of like a time that like her and I had in high school, or like a time her and I had just like a couple years ago, like before we stopped being friends. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like we were good. Like there's nothing bad to think about it, but it's just more of like grieving, like, okay, like that person that I once knew when we first started just isn't the same. So I think it's just a lot harder to wrap your head around, because you know that they're still there, they're still around, but you just won't have that same relationship with them. You gotta sometimes cry about it. Like, I feel like people don't really realize it. Like, you gotta cry because this person was a big part of your life, and if they were the type of friend that you saw like almost every day, talked to every day, like, yeah, it's gonna hurt. Coming from the emotional queens.
My last question was, or we can both answer, like, what's been the most healing part of our friendship?
We've given each other our space, but we know that the other person's always gonna be there. And I think it's just maybe something that maybe we've done like our whole life, to where it's like, oh, well, whatever Sophie does, like if Sophie can't make it, I'm not gonna take it to heart, because I know Sophie would want to be there. Well, we're not always involved in each other's routines, but we're still gonna be there supporting each other. Yeah. So I think that's something so great and like so like beautiful about our relationship, because I'm like, no, I don't see Sophie every day, but I know for a fact Sophie's gonna be at my wedding. I remember one time in one of our like birthday shout outs on Instagram, I was like, we're gonna be the PTA moms together.
Let them know. Also, what I've noticed in our friendship is like, we were at the same like elementary school, but then we went to different middle schools. And then we were like, dang, no!
Like, all brand new friends. Like,
yeah, I was like, not Yesenia not being here. I was so scared to go from elementary school to middle school. Like, it was so different. And we both were like, yeah, we're both gonna go to Barrows. Like,
I think it was like our first day of school. Like, we met up too, and I was like, oh my gosh, Sophie, thank God.
Like, thank God, it was so dark back there.
Thank God. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I feel like we always like found each other again. Even when college, like I went to CSUN, like, I was like, okay, we're not at the same school anymore. And I was like, I was so scared to lose literally all my friends. I was like, this is gonna get crazy because now it's gonna show like who is our friendships because they are intentional about like being our friend
Yeah.
versus like convenience being in the same place. We've still been able to like keep in touch and still like value wanting to see each other. We're not like, okay, what's the point of seeing you? Like, we're like, we still want to hear about everything. We still be laughing together.
Laughing,
And so
talking about our families too. Like, we're
Yeah.
just like, I think that's just because like we've known each other for so long that I'm just over here like, oh my gosh, remember when this happened when we were younger? Or like, remember when this happened? Or like, remember when Megan would like go around and say things and we're just like,
yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Megan was.
She still is.
Megan
Nothing
was
changed
so
about that girl.
Megan was so fun to be around when we were younger. I remember that so well. And then high
Megan.
school hit and like she was even more wild and I remember just being there like, huh?
Literally. Now she's a little more chill but still crackhead at heart. But yeah.
We love that.
We love Megan.
We love
Shout
Megan.
out Megan.
Shout out Megan.
You are remembered by
Many.
So yeah, I'm just grateful for you. And I feel like it's rare to I don't know, just be able to even talk about stuff like that. Like be like, remember when we were kids and like remember at school, and it just makes me feel like homey.
And I think it definitely gives us comfort too.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody, you've made it to the end.
The end is here.
The end is here. Sad. If you want us back, you know, comment. If you want Yesenia back, maybe she'll come back if she didn't hate it.
Once I hear my own voice, maybe then I'll decide.
You're like, oh, I'm not doing that again. I still don't like hearing my own voice.
But it's okay, because sometimes I'm at work and I'll like replay episodes and I'm like, oh, Sophie. What a queen.
And we appreciate you guys listening to us. And if you're listening on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to us. And thanks for watching. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you follow them as well so you can listen on the go.
Always comes in clutch at work. Never forget that.
And period. You heard it from her. Yeah. And we're going to have new episodes every other Friday. So make sure you check those out. And is there anything that you wanted to shout out or say? The floor is yours.
I want to shout out you for letting me come on.
Oh.
I literally messaged her and I was like, I honestly didn't think you would accept my form.
Girl, no.
I was over here dreading it. I was like, oh my gosh, what if Sophie denies my application? Because she's like, girl, we don't even talk that often.
No, I was literally so excited. I was so happy you did. And this conversation was so healing for me, girl.
Free therapy.
Free therapy stash for
Free
therapy.
No, but it was definitely so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I love you.
Love you too, girly.
Yes. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We did it.
We did it. That was so good.